As some of you know, we have a yellow campervan, which you may have seen in this video, or maybe this video. Today, I'm going to tell you all about how we took that little yellow van down to Cornwall. I'm going to share where we stayed, what we got up to, where we had food, and give you some recommendations for places you could go to when you go down to Cornwall next, because quite frankly, it's incredible. I'm Janoux, welcome back to my channel, where I make films about our outdoor adventures, our van trips, and different creative things. Now, despite owning this campervan for about 3 years now, for some reason, we've never been to Cornwall with it. Well, that all changed recently when we went on a little road trip down to the Lizard, which is quite frankly the coolest name for a place I've ever heard of. After staying in a lovely shepherd's hut for a couple of nights for Naomi's birthday, we then hit the road down to the Lizard. Here we stayed in a campsite called Kynance Camping. On the first afternoon we took a walk to Kynance Cove, which was incredible. We watched the surfers from the cliffs and had Cornish pasties in the cafe overlooking the cove. After this, Naomi booked into a random yoga class, so I went with her and just sat in the van watching the Olympics. She managed to find the only yoga place.
There's a yogi.
Oh, there's a yogi. She found the only yoga place here in this area.
Look at all the yogis. Look at all the Cornish yogis. I bet they're going to be so good.
Naomi loves yoga.
Goodbye.
Now it's just me on my own. So let's go see what we can find. Okay, I guess I'm just gonna walk down this random path. There's the hotel that Naomi's driven us to. There are definitely worse places to be left on my own. Look at that. Honestly, every time I come to Cornwall, my mind is blown at just how incredible this coastline is. I'm just gonna sit here, watch the Olympics, whilst Naomi does her yoga. I think I win. We then went for dinner at this very random restaurant. I'm gonna put the name here, which from the outside we were unsure of, but let me tell you, it had some of the best Mexican food that I've had in the UK. It was so good. The campsite itself was pretty basic. It had showers, it had toilets, but for the most part it was just a field. I definitely recommend it because of the amazing location. It's about a 20-minute walk to the coastal path, and then another half an hour walk down to Kynance Cove, and then it's also a 5-minute walk into town. So it's a really cool location, but don't expect anything too fancy. The next morning, we woke up to terrible weather. We've woken up to a Cornish storm. So we quickly hopped in the van and we headed to Falmouth. Now, even though we lived in Devon for 3 years, I'd never been to Falmouth for some reason. So we were pleasantly surprised with its amazing shops, coffee shops, bakeries, restaurants, and even though the weather was pretty bad, it was such a nice place to just wander around. I had an incredible bagel at Max Bagels. And after a day of wandering around here, we then hopped in the van again and we headed up to Mount Pleasant Eco Park. Now this was one of my favorite campsites, which I mentioned in my video last week. Go check that out. We loved staying here. And we wish we could have stayed longer. After setting up camp, we took a wander down to Porthowen, which was about half an hour walk from the campsite. Super easy to get there. And we just grabbed some chips, sat on the beach, and watched people surfing. As I mentioned in last week's video, there's this amazing canteen in the middle of the campsite. where they have different events and things going on every single day. The evening that we were there was a bar and they were selling flatbreads with toppings from different things they've grown in the gardens on the campsite. And then there was this amazing open mic night. We made friends with a guy called Matt who was performing and sat on a table with his father-in-law Graham, and we just chatted the whole night. They were super friendly. Matt was from the local area, he lives there with his wife and his kid, and Graham was visiting from South Africa. So we heard all about their story, and it was just such a fun evening, just getting an insight into this community. Like I said, we loved this campsite. The people were really friendly, the facilities were great. It had a real family feel, real community feel. The next morning was the end of our Cornish adventure, and we slowly made our way back home, and we stopped at a few different extra places. So the first place we stopped was Gorse Bakery. So this place was awesome. It's featured in the book Britain's Best Bakeries, and we had some amazing toasties there. Sadly, we arrived just a little bit too late and most of the stuff was sold out. But it was really cool. The whole area had loads of little independent businesses. We wandered around there for a bit. I particularly liked this surf shop that's linked with Wavelength magazine, and that was awesome. Loved that. After this, we took our friend Matt's recommendation and we drove to this town called Fowey, which is a tiny little seaside harbour town in Cornwall. I'd never heard of Fowey before, and our friend Matt recommended it to us. And thank goodness he did, because it was amazing. It was super beautiful. Like you park up and then you wander down the little streets all the way to the harbour, and honestly everywhere you look is like a painting. It's definitely the kind of place as you wander around you're like, okay, I could live here one day. We then topped off our adventure by grabbing some fish and chips in Bridport. We just sat on the beach, fought off some seagulls and watched the sunset before heading home. We're going home.
Let's hit the road.
Goodbye Bridport, goodbye Devon, goodbye Cornwall. The van held up perfectly and it was such a perfect trip. Honestly, I love Cornwall so much. I wish we were there for longer. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed our van trip, our road trip down to Cornwall. Definitely go and save all these spots on Google Maps. One day I'll show you what my Google Maps looks like, because I always just get in the habit of anytime someone recommends me something, I just go on there, I save it on the map. Please make sure to subscribe for more films. On Sunday, I posted a little running vlog, my marathon diary, which I'm starting back up because I booked another marathon in April. So I need to get back into running and get back into training, because training will start at the end of November, and that's very soon. So, and yeah, thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you next week for another video, another little adventure video, and this Sunday for another running vlog. So, why do I keep saluting? Cool. Alright, bye!